You fool! Okay.
You were just dying to say that, weren't you? When you saw it.
And that was the first one.
Ooh, hello.
Those bells don't start ringing.
Exactly. Am I there? Oh, yeah, I think so.
Did you say something?
Yes. Hello.
Oh, I missed it.
Hello.
Okay.
It's like, hello.
Hello. Welcome to our Halloween edition of What the Flicks podcast. I'm Susan Ayers.
I'm Patty Smith.
I'm Lon Shima.
I'm Ian Ashbury. Jorge Sanchez.
I'm Bob Nick Shields.
Okay.
I'm Bob Nick Shields.
So,
I'm Bob Nick Shields.
for our Halloween special, oh God. For our Halloween special, don't want the nails to come off, is Vampires versus the Bronx, Dream Child, Light of the Comet.
Night of the Comet.
Oh, excuse me, Night of the Comet. I keep doing that. Night of the Comet, The Last House on the Left.
Last house on the neft.
No, it's on the left. You're right, Susan.
And Renfield. Ooh. Okay. So yeah, Night of the Comet. Sorry, and you know what? I keep making the mistakes twice. So I guess that would be Patty. No, that's you.
George.
That's George.
Oh, me?
What the hell are you doing?
I just want to see my head in that mirror. Make sure I'm seeing myself. Yes, hello. That's right. What are you? Vampires versus the Bronx. That's my movie. Let me get my notes.
Salud.
Music, maestro.
Salud.
Music, maestro.
Salud.
So my movie, you know, I probably got that doing the trailer.
Is it rolling,
So-
Bob?
So my movie is, what is it called? Vampires versus the Bronx. And it's West's
Hello.
trailer.
You sure you don't
That
have a
chair's pulling
blonde
my
hair
hair.
under there?
That chair's pulling my hair.
As a fellow blonde person.
What's poppin', y'all? It's your girl Gloria coming at you live. If you see a kid that's riding a bike 2 sizes too big for him, that's just little man trying to save the neighborhood. And speaking of saving the neighborhood, what's up with all these missing person flyers?
Yo, check out the courthouse.
They're turning it into apartments?
Y'all know how this
That kid's
starts.
gonna be the next
Some white people
Miles
with
Morales,
canvas bags.
Spider-Man.
Do you think
It's
he
always
is?
the first time.
Kind of looks like Miles Morales. I think it's like what do they call him? Afro Latino.
What you doing down here, bro?
Afro Latin.
It's too late to fight back now. We are going to wipe you out like the vermin you are.
We got vampires in the Bronx.
Nobody gonna care that Slim disappeared. Why? Because he's a gangbanger? Nah, homie. Because he's from the Bronx, like us.
There's a lot of things happening in this neighborhood right
Maybe
now.
they do a sequel,
Keep
Vampires in East
your
LA.
eyes open.
Go to the homie. What's gonna?
It'd be the same movie.
That was mad vague, What do you do for work?
Vampires versus homies.
Are you seriously out at night when you know there's a couple of vampires running around?
Oh, hey.
We're gonna need some garlic and some wooden stakes, like
All
right the
those
hell now.
golfers.
Oh yeah, they go to a club in Hollywood. That's it.
I'll take
They
it.
already done it anyway. I mean,
One night with you guys and I already have vampires and thugs trying to kill me.
Okay, George. I didn't see the trailer for that. That was pretty
Alrighty.
good.
So basically, the movie's a description is a trio of friends discover a sinister plot to destroy their neighborhood. So they decide to band together to save their town from vampires. So actually, I've seen the trailers for this movie. I wanted to do this movie last year for Halloween, and I just decided not to. I can't remember what I did
You
instead.
did that other one that was really great too.
The house,
With
something
also
in the lake. The
kids.
lake house, was it?
No, wasn't it the kids?
That would have been a different one, but I think I did the lake house. Anyways.
Anywho.
So
end of flashback.
yeah, right. So this movie is basically a vampire
Don't worry
movie,
about your memory.
a vampire movie about gentrification. So, I mean, obviously the vampires these kids find out that there's this new real estate company and they're buying up all the buildings and or all the businesses. They kind of, so that they can over all the businesses, getting people out, obviously giving them some good money, and then taking over with their and making their own real estate company there. So the movie was better than I expected. I thought it was gonna be really crappy, but no, it was really good. I actually enjoyed it. It's light and fun. It's not like, you know, it's not gonna win awards or anything like that. But it's a light movie that you can just watch, you know, enjoy. And yeah, I thought it had a lot of funny cultural jokes. You know, a couple of funny scenes. Like I thought it's funny, like the guy owns the bodega. They're actually, you know, also buying up bodegas. I never knew what a bodega was until I saw some movie in New York, and now I find out that it's like a mini mart, like a mini mart in New York. So
okay.
Of course the guy is I think he's Dominican, and he's got Sammy Sosa's bad, and it's like
right,
the real Sammy Sosa's bad, so it's funny. But so I actually like movies kind of like the Sandlot, or where the kids are the heroes, the Goonies. So I like that aspect of it too. And the kids are always really smart, and they a lot of times know more than the adults do. And they were kind of funny, interesting characters, and their parents too. Just everybody in the movie what I found interesting. Voila.
You fool! Okay.
You were just dying to say that, weren't you? When you saw
and that was the first one. We got 5 reviews to go.
I pity the fool.
First of all, like Vampires in the Bronx is like Idris Elba as James Bond in Moscow.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen. It just ain't gonna happen. And Vampires versus the Bronx. My money's on the Bronx. Vampires don't have a chance. These guys are just a bunch of losers. I watched this movie a few weeks ago. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I don't remember much of it at all, but I remember having a good time watching it. So I don't have that much to say about it, simply because it was. I didn't realize we were shooting today, and I didn't have a chance to review it at all. So next time I'll definitely wait until closer to the shooting date before watching the movies.
Okay. So I really like this movie. It was
spit it out, sir.
This horror vampire comedy deals with a lot of really heavy stuff, but they present it in a very I wouldn't say in a funny way. It makes it easy for you. I mean, they deal with regentrification, they deal with racism, they deal with vampirism. They deal with some really, heavy stuff. But we always see it through the eyes of the children. So that makes it not depressing, because that's kind of how children see things. I really like that. They're also going to do something about it. So it's kind of like this regentrification in their neighborhood. They are very optimistic. They're going to do something about it. And so they do. And it's a very, the good guys, and I don't think there's ever oh God, who's going to win this? There's never a feeling of that. It's kind of like,
I was praying.
It's kind of like when?
You're like with the kids. You're like with the kids. They just really, they're having fun and saving the neighborhood.
No. It's just, I love kids like Sandlot, Goonies. This just didn't cut it. It's just.
These aren't kids. These are like teenagers. I mean,
it didn't cut it. It just didn't cut it. It could have, but it didn't.
That's it?
I'm trying to be less negative.
A very short segment.
Okay. Well, this is the funny thing. Okay, I disagree, Bob. I think they are kids, and I think the one part, like you guys mentioned earlier, is the presence of their parents. Remember at one point the mother's yelling out the window as one of the kids is trying to hey, girls, you want to come to the bodega party we're throwing, right? And the mother starts yelling, hey, do you want a babysitter for tonight? So no, I think technically I would say you can consider them kids, but they're at that cusp of not becoming kids anymore. That's the important part, because this really is a coming of age story, in my opinion.
Yes.
But on top of that, like you said, I agree with you guys. I think it's exactly what I was really surprised. I thought, okay, a bunch of kids going to this, and I was going to compare it to Attack the Block. I thought, maybe it's like Attack the Block. But to me, Attack the Block was a better film, period,
it was a
for
great
me.
film.
But for what they're presenting in this, I said, wow, this is a decent enough kind of scary movie that is almost like a family movie.
Yes.
That's what I like.
Yes.
And the one thing was, which I really do appreciate this, is the fact that there is adult guidance. I mean, the 3 boys are really excellent. I thought all 3 of them had their own personalities and the possibilities. One even going into that sort of possibly getting involved in gangs kind of thing, right?
Criminal aspect.
Yeah.
criminal
And his two buddies are saying, no, don't mess with that guy because it's just trouble.
Mhm.
And then all the mothers that are involved with all three of them, are either punishing them or saying like, okay, or my favorite, you did what? We're going to church, right? That they have to go to church, which I thought, again, in the aspect of the movie, as you saw in the trailer, they still stick to sort of the old fashioned rules with the cross. So they figure at least they'll be safe. And then, of course, things like holy water. Oh, we got to go holy water, which leads to some fun stuff. Not the fact that even Method Man is playing the priest. I
Right.
mean, come
Yeah.
on. That was like stuff.
That's
that
funny.
actually made me laugh when I saw who
Just
the priest
keep
was.
it
Exactly. Keep an eye on him. And again, I like that aspect too. Right. The priest, it's like he knew they were going to start trouble.
Mhm.
See,
Yeah.
when he says, "I'm keeping an eye on you guys," it's like, wow. So I will give it to the three actors. Did you write their name? Because I wanted to mention their names because I really thought I believe they were friends. So it was Jaden Michael, Gerald Jones, and this Gregory Diaz the Fourth. Excellent. I thought and they each, like you said, had their own talent.
Did you mention the girl that plays she says she's
Coco?
Asian?
Coco Jones?
Coco Jones.
No. Which one is she?
She's the one that's
That they tell her about the vampire, and she's Haitian. She goes,
group.
"Are you kidding me? I've been trained my whole life for this. My superstitious grandma and everything."
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You've been dying to say that line, George.
She's a singer, right?
I don't know what she does
I think
actually,
she's a
but
singer.
Oh.
Yeah.
but what I like is when because they need to fill the
Right.
they need bottles for the
Right.
for the holy water, and they take the father's bottles, and it's like, damn, they took my Sprite. He's so pissed off.
I don't want to interrupt you.
No. Go ahead.
Just because we do have time to kill on this one. This reminded me of a movie called Monster Squad that came out.
No, I
back in the
remember
80s.
that.
Remember
Yeah,
that
very
movie?
much so. Yeah.
That was a really terrific movie, and I think this like sort of is a good matchup with that.
Mhm.
If you've never seen Monster Squad, it's a movie that Universal made using all the old Universal monsters. And
Well,
it's
don't
a
get their
lot of
hopes
fun.
up by comparing it.
Well, it's a lot of fun. It's a bunch
Well,
of
yeah,
It was a great
that
movie.
I believe was like this is a PG-13 movie. You can understand why because it's sort of
Yeah.
the violence involved. But I think that was a PG movie because I agree too. I thought again as a family kind of scary
Yeah.
movie, perfect choice, especially if you have young kids because the monsters alone are sort of scary, but in context of the entire movie, it's not. In fact, that movie I do remember distinctly laughing out loud at one of the
it's very-
bits. you
yeah,
know?
but they also have like the thing like with the old man. Like there's that
Exactly.
little twist on
Mhm.
that too, which is cool.
because like
Anyway,
here,
we're talking about a
they
different
do
movie
make
right now.
some like I don't know if anyone caught that the Murnau Properties is the name of the real estate
Oh,
company.
no, I missed it.
Yeah, see, exactly. If you don't know, F.W. Murnau was the guy who directed Nosferatu. So
Okay.
that's sort of like rung in my ear. I mean, it's a little thing like that. So I
The
thought,
original
oh, good.
Nosferatu, not the Werner Herzog.
Oh, I'm dying
And-
to see that one.
Yes,
That's
the
great.
silent film. But again, I recommend this film only because, like I said, it's light, it's entertaining, it's not 2.5 hours long. This is what I wish more
And
of
I'm
those
more thankful for
of those
than anything.
comic book hero movies were more like this. Because see, like I said, to me, it's aimed at a family crowd, not at the horror crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, there are some very creepy people and incidences in this movie.
No.
So
I like how the vampires also did look like Scandinavian, kind of very pale. The guy with the long blonde hair and everything.
Yeah,
Like you said,
which is what I'm saying about
right,
in the
they would have
Bronx.
stood out. They would have stood out a bit.
exactly.
Yes, but was re-gentrified.
Yeah, right.
so-
Exactly.
Shall
Yes.
we rate it? I'm
They would have
trying to-
made him with
I'm
short
trying to
hair and
hear
beard.
what Lod's
And
score
And that's
is.
what
Oh.
happens when things get re-gentrified.
They were missing the men bun.
Man bun. Okay,
keep
so
poking
you don't rate, right?
Well, I do, but I don't rate the movies.
Okay, mistaken. Yes, right. You don't rate movies. So I think of this as a family movie. So and something you watch with kids. So I would give it an 8 or a 9. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'll give it a 6.
Oh wow. I gave this a 5.
I'll give it a 7.
God, I'm turning into you.
Yes, but
Okay.
he's
So,
turning into you.
He's
We
going
will
up.
move on to our
we'll be
next
back.
one.
We'll be back.
Price owns the company. It's really
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Okay, so now is
Oh, month.
Yes. I went back to the 80s as well. So mine is A Night of the Comet that was written and directed by Tom Eberhardt. That is so 80s.
Did you ever wonder what it would be like to be one of the last people on Earth?
We're talking ghost town!
Who would you see?
There's nobody. I mean, there's nobody.
What would you do?
Hey, I'm sorry if the end of the world makes me a little nervous.
Where would you go?
The stars are open!
Well, get ready to find out, because the comet is coming into your orbit.
The legal drinking age is now 10, but you will need ID. Let's be real.
It's the Night of the Comet.
What do you give me if I come back?
Texas.
Night of the Comet.
I'll be taking requests from all you teenage comet zombies.
The night the teenagers ruled the world. Night of the Comet.
The burden of civilization is on us.
Fiction, isn't it?
Okay, so if you scream for the 80s, this is the kind of movie you'll see.
Yeah.
The hair, the music,
The
everything,
clothes.
everything is 80s. So I just thought I thought off the top of my head, I don't care much for horror movies, so it's hard for me to find. So I always go for obviously the silly, fun, goofy ones. And this happened to be a movie that I hadn't seen it actually since it got released. But I went
40 years ago.
I saw this like 3 times at the movie theaters. That's how much I
Really?
enjoyed it. Because it was just a silly, fun movie. In fact, I tell people this is like the precursor to Buffy the Vampire Slayer
Right,
in a
absolutely.
way. Right? You know, that kind of thing.
I
right?
don't even know why that's true, but it
Because
is.
he based it on one of those.
It's true.
It
He
is.
based it on one of those girls.
Oh,
In a way, because that's the whole thing. It's like, you know, they both are basically, I would say, well, actually, no, it's more, okay, the 2 actresses are Catherine Mary Stewart, who plays Reg, or Regina, and then Kelly Maloney, who plays Samantha or Sam. I like the fact that their father named them these female names, but they always do the short to make them male. Because the one thing, the father's a major in, they don't really specify, I think, in the army, but in the military, and he's taught them how to fight and use weapons.
I think maybe later in the movie they mentioned that he might have been special forces.
Well,
something
no,
like that.
the current wife, their stepmother, mentions that, when he gets back handling the Sandinistas.
Yes.
Again, another 80s reference, right? At that
Right.
point. Right?
Yeah.
So, right. So, yes, it's something like that. So, anyway, it opens with a little monologue about this comet is going to come over the Earth. And, you know, it's in this big, long kind of rotation. But the last time apparently it appeared was 65 million years ago, where they sort of theorized, yes, and that's when the dinosaurs disappeared. So they actually mentioned as well that scientists think, okay, maybe it's not a coincidence. So they did. But for the most part, this is an event. And again, like anything in LA, we're going to have parties. We're going to be on the streets. We're going to have comet watching parties.
we're going to change clothes
Yeah.
every 10 seconds.
They're selling like those dealy boppers or whatever, all the, you know, anything. They commercialize the hell out of this. So, of course, everybody's going to watch this, except for some people. Catherine Mary Stewart's character, Reg, she wants to spend the night with her boyfriend because she works at a movie theater. He's the projectionist, so they decide to basically spend the night in the projection room, which you find out later is, you know, all solid steel.
Just happens.
Her
to be.
sister Sam gets in a fight with their stepmother, decides she's going to sleep in the shed in back. So they get up the next morning and they notice, well, no one's around. Well, at least I take it back. Reg's character knows nothing around. That's when she begins to suspect some guy tries to attack her as she gets out of the street. And she doesn't quite understand it, except she notices it's really quiet. So she just gets on a motorcycle, heads back home, finds her sister, realizes something's really wrong. The sister is oblivious. She's thinking, I can't get a hold of anyone. I'm going to just go to cheerleader practice and ditch school. And her sister Reg has to convince Sam that no, these people are gone. And then, because also Catherine Mary Stewart's character sees is just a bunch of clothes around and there's a red haze in the air, then you realize, no, everyone's sort of turned to dust. So the theory is anyone who watched the comet has now turned to dust, except that's not the only thing. Unfortunately, there are people living. And that's when the movie gets that's the horror aspect of the movie. They basically become zombies. I'm assuming they become flesh-eating zombies. You don't quite know. But apparently, according to the science people who later get involved, it's something that's going to degenerate them. They're going to become dehydrated, and then they're going to go crazy and do things. Who knows? But what I thought was fun was the fact that they sort of at least think logically. They think, okay, we need weapons, first of all. They go to a radio station where they do meet Robert Beltran's character, whose name is Hector. He, oddly enough, gets the top billing in the movie because he had been in a cult film called Eating Raoul. That was sort of a famous movie.
Actually,
exactly. That's why I was like, oh, I like that. The fact that he's in this. And in fact, I will mention another Eating Raoul alumni's in it. The mighty Mary Warrenoff is also in this movie. He just adds another dimension because, they think they're the only two women. So it's like, oh, then are they going to fight over the guy type of thing? But as things turned out, it's like, what do we do? How do we? Most of it's just like, once they realize the family's gone, we have to depend on ourselves. They sort of know there's something up, but they don't quite know exactly. I think, some movies you got to behead the zombie to kill them completely. There's no rules here. They just start shooting and hacking and beating as long as they could. But it never gets, in my opinion, overly violent.
No.
Against people. So that was sort of refreshing. The interesting part is with the scientists, because I think the other names you might have heard of is like Mary Warrenoff and Jeffrey Lewis are two name actors, I think. But and I could tell you the whole story because it won't take away, because the thing I still found entertaining is how fun I thought this movie was for me. It's still funny. There's a stupid line in it that still made me laugh. Daddy would have gotten us Uzis. I mean, there's just things in this movie that I thought were delightful, and that's the reason I'd recommend this movie.
Okay, yeah, I really enjoyed it too. The one-liners were cracking me up. The two things that girls would say, they were like just really funny, like that what they would see and just little. And so yeah, I thought it was light. I thought the music was funny because it reminded me of like big covers of real songs. It's like that sounds like it should be a real song. And then actually I didn't know it was called classic. I had never heard of this movie, and I'm pretty good with the 80s ones, and I didn't know that it was that girl, Kelly Maroney, the character with the cheerleader character, was the inspiration for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh,
Joss Whedon.
Seriously?
Yeah, Joss Whedon.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he said that. Okay, yeah, wow.
Yeah, so that's why I read that Joss Whedon said that was the inspiration for it. So I thought it's interesting because that's 1984, is it?
Yes.
It reminds me of downtown at that time. I was supposed to downtown like after 8 o'clock. This
exactly.
Dead. And that's when they filmed Terminator 2. And the downtown was dead. They filmed at night. Well, we're getting all the movies again. So, but yeah, I thought it was just funny. The cheesy lines, the music, it was just a classic B movie almost. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
You fool!
Waiting all night to say that again.
Oh, there's still.
I like it. Yeah, works for me.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, he's still got to give a review. I've got one in my pocket. Still to go. Anyway, yeah, I agree with you pretty much. I remember liking this a lot more than I did this time, and I think it was because it was so fresh at the time. I mean, Kelly Maroney was a standout in terms of that. I said, "Wow, she's really going to go someplace," and she never did.
I wondered about everybody in this movie. Did they go anywhere?
She like did some
mostly TV.
Well, actually, Catherine Mary Stewart had a pretty good career.
Yeah, she did.
And Mary Warrenoff, I don't know if she's doing anything anymore. But by the way, I thought that was the best work Mary Warrenoff ever did in a non-camp role in this movie. I thought she did a straight, really, really good performance. And interestingly enough, with her co-star Roberto Beltran. That I forgot to even make that connection back then. Oh. But I think that they had just right before that made Eating Raoul. But it's really, if you've never seen the movie, absolutely watch it. It's fun. It's silly in ways that is good. It's scary to a degree. You never worry about them. I mean, you never worry that something's going to happen to these two girls because they're just too goofy. Bullets would just fly by them if they were walking through a room full of bullets. And it just has a wonderful feel of the time and the spirit and movies that were made back then. I mean, it's like to call it a horror movie. I guess it's a horror movie. It would be called a horror movie, and probably back then it was something that was considered more of a horror movie. By today's level of horror movies, this would be really tame.
No, I think the trailer it said comedy. So
it's definitely a comedy. It's definitely, but I don't think I knew that when I went to see it the first time. I think that
no, me either. I thought it was.
I thought it was going to be a horror movie, and I was so pleasantly surprised that it was such a funny movie, and just all the actors like Sharon Farrell playing their mother,
stepmother, most right? important. Yeah,
it was really
exactly.
It was really entertaining. I would recommend seeing this if you have a chance to. That's about it.
Okay. Next two movies for me are quite difficult, right? But okay, I like the two girls, Catherine Mary Stewart and as Regina and Kelly Maroney as Sam. I like them. I thought they were really likable. They were very entertaining. I didn't understand. I didn't even get the idea of the movie. It's like, why do you become zombies after the comet? I didn't get it. You know what I mean? It's like, what are they after? What are the zombies after?
Well, I was telling her that if you're exposed right away, you turn into dust. But those who don't turn into dust right away will turn into dust. But in the process of turning into dust, they become zombies first.
Yeah, and what is the explanation? How does that work?
Nothing's explained. It's not an explanation movie.
Absolutely.
Because E equals MC squared, and when
that was trouble. It's obvious. It's a very dubious horror sci-fi, but it is a comedy. It's like it is cute. It's very 80s. You would have really liked the 80s. I mean, the hair alone. I was like cracking up when I just saw when the girl opened the door. It was the hair. I was like, okay, we're in the 80s.
And it was perfect all the way through it.
It was, I don't even know what to say. It made no sense.
Right.
I did like the ending. I thought was really cute that she became so horrible. You know what I mean? So right. I thought that was great. But if you recommended it.
Well, it was my choice.
I was around in the 80s and I never saw this movie. I never heard of it. So it must. I heard it's a cult classic now. Is that correct?
I think I saw it a few times back then when it was still.
I think it's a cult classic now. Like I'm sure if Elvira was still around.
She's still around.
Yes,
her show. I'm sure she would have this on her show.
There are some. She did another show like that called Elvira's Haunted Hills.
Yeah,
that you can see. I think it's on something called Midnight Pulp, which is a subscription thing from Prime.
Well, I wasn't actually really concerned about that. I was going to say it would be like Killer Tomatoes. If
it would be a movie.
Tomatoes
I love Killer Tomatoes.
You love
it would be a movie Elvira would do on her show, and then they'll discuss it
and discuss. Yeah. Okay.
I saw this in 1984. I didn't like it then, so I saw it again, and I still didn't like it. Like you said, Susie, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, or
Girls.
That was a good movie.
Earth Girls Are Easy would be a upper version of this,
but it's got nothing. It had nothing that appealed to me. So no, I did not like it. Again.
Okay, so George, you want to?
Oh, me? No, as that kind of a movie for that time and what it's supposed to be, I'll give it an 8.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it a Lawns 5. Yeah.
I'll give it a lawn 2.
Yeah. I gave it a 5. Yes.
Okay, so
all right then. So we'll be back.
We'll be back.